Alright, my dude, I got bored, so I thought I would do a quick update video, I guess. I'm actually quite behind. I want people to know this. Like, I still probably had to do a house cleaning show to respond to Dark Glasses, Woody's, 2 emails and 3 comments about, I guess, form and order, chaos, the lowering chakra of people in general, loosh extraction. Our current predicament ever since the Voldemort disease, I mean, this whole Voldemort disease, it's very predictable even since, I would say, 9/11. It led up to the whole 7-year Baktun of the Mayan age as we were so in the shifting calendar period to the age of Aquarius. Oh my god, the age of wonder and excitement and individuality and friends and imagination. Whoa. Like there's a reason why I use this digital avatar of mine. It's to illustrate to you the coming of the future era where they basically try to entrap your soul into a digital, I mean, some people will call it a utopia. It's basically the Ready Player One scenario. This is the whole idea. I mean, I'm pretty sure aware that people like David Bowie were very aware of what's happening, which was the whole point of the Omnicron video game. It's like the story of Astaroth. I mean, if you thought you were already in a simulacra like the Matrix, I mean, imagine a simulacra of a simulacra. And the simulation is the perfected man state in the pre-Kabbalistic phase before the fall of man. I was listening to Days of Noah. I mean, did he really disappear to do a documentary about music? I mean, he sounds like my Yoda Master Joshy boy. I mean, they don't really care about this stuff. They just care about their personal interests, like music. Like, the difference between me and other channels is I will do whatever my audience says in general, within reason, but I'm not going to talk about certain topics. Like, I'm not sure why people want me to talk about demonology or demons, or ceremonial ritual magic or black magic. I mean, for a long time I thought magic wasn't real until I got into it. And turns out magic is a lot more real than people think it is. Like, demons are real, disembodied spirits are real, archons and aeons and invisible masters and higher echelons of daemons are real. Like, I remember a real magic book I actually read was the whole process, the shortcut keys of initiation, where you basically onion shell out your own soul and find your inner guardian angel, which is basically just your higher spirit itself of your daemon, whatever, from the Greek. And then that spark of you is actually the true spark of you and not your avatar form that is in the pre-existent perfected man state, like in Kabbalism. And apparently it's actually supposed to be very hard to do, and you have to do whatever. But I mean, I just did it because I read a book. I mean, I didn't take the book seriously, but apparently it was a real magical book, and you can't even get it anymore. I mean, there's other stuff. I mean, a lot of the stuff that I talk about these days, I mean, I just try to chill out. Like, I know, what is this? Days of Noah is saying that, oh my god, the Astroworld concert in Fortnite. I mean, everybody knows I play Fortnite, okay? Look, in the Astroworld concert with Travis Scott, I'll show you the content. I mean, I was there live, okay? I was also there for Ariana Grande. Everyone knows I used to like playing Fortnite a lot, but then they just changed the game, so it sucks now. Like, I haven't played Fortnite since, like, Chapter 3 started. Yeah, you see this concert? I was there live, alright? I was, like, there emoting like I was, like, 12 years old, alright? The game's for babies now. Yeah, dude, we're in the Ready Player One scenario. I mean, it's only a matter of time. I mean, every adult has a cell phone, alright? And then with the upcoming evil... I mean, this is the Astroworld concert. Astral World. They want to impose the astral world and a fake simulacra in the Facebook's metaverse. I mean, that's obvious. Eventually, they'll have haptic suits and, like, Tesla suits or whatever. And then they want to, like, implant your mind in, like, a deep dive state. I mean, you want to talk about entrapping souls. I mean, this is literally the story of, David Bowie is right. Like, there is a dark entity out there called Astaroth. I mean Astaroth. I mean, I guess you could call it. I mean, I prefer to call it the Lord of Karma, and then its son is Death. But I mean, this thing, it's also known as I guess Abraxas, but in the Kabbalistic would be known as Astaroth. Okay, whatever. Yeah, it's a whole Omicron thing. But I really shouldn't have done the whole started the Fall of Man series, because in order to properly do the Fall of Man series, it's not necessarily the best thing to go through the Kabbalistic sources. Like the person I reacted to, his name is Bialis something, and he's obviously obsessed with Kabbalism. I mean, to me, Kabbalism is just one key facet. I mean, it would be better to go through Manly P. Hall's interpretation of the fall of Atlantis. That's a better sourcing. And then you go through the Vedic and the pre-Vedic, or like the whole Anunnaki stuff, and then you should go to the pre-materialization of man in the golden era, like before the silver era and the gods. I mean, right now we're in the whole silicone era because of some John Dee fascination with some alien thing that told him that you needed silicone to basically transcend material carnality of the carbon form, which is trapped within this induction of Earth, which is basically its own terrarium or vivarium of aliens or gods that are viewing this whole thing. I mean, you need silicone to escape this planet for whatever reason. I mean, it has to do really with the incarnation of or formation of souls, if you really want to care about it. But these days, I mean, when I look out into humanity in general, I mean, you want to talk about people that aren't really there. I mean, their souls or their lights are extremely dim. Even these people who think that they're spiritually aware, we are the only real spirited beings, we're more special than everybody else, and we're narcissistic and dumb, we just think we're the best. I mean, these people, their souls are not necessarily there either. I mean, I hate to break it to people, but this process of enlightenment and purification of the spirit, to actualize it, it's an actual step process that you have to do. You can't just be like a quantum of kittens and be like, we're the only real spirited beings, we're the super whole creatures that create reality with that mind, and our little group is the most powerful, and they have to tell us, and blah blah blah. Look, dude, I read the rules, alright? If anything, I have more in common with these elites than you guys, to be honest. But I mean, I'm not joining them because, I mean, they're really dumb. I mean, the way that they act, they're very bipolar. They think they're better than everybody else. And then they have this false state where they view everyone else as the beast when they're just as beastly as the people that they want to treat like cattle. And then they basically want to pretend like they're enlightened, awakened beings when they're actually all just psychopathic, sociopathic Satanists who did some initiation rituals to join some group to basically impart an aspect of a demon or a dead alien Thetan into them. And that's why they recognize their own as being part of the club, because unless you're demonically possessed by some dead alien spirit which you manifest as, then you're not one of them, and they can sense it. It's literally the story of Dayliv, right? Like, I hate to be in this goddamn position, because look, I'm just a grocery store worker, right? Like, the stuff I talk about, I mean, people said, Pink, it's like we're supernatural. You think I want to be Dean or Sam Winchester with all this crazy shit and the Men of Letters and teaching people how to avoid demons and doing this or that? I mean, dude, I don't care, alright? I mean, I'm more of a Buddhist because I'm an Easterner, so I don't get hung up on this idea of demons and the battle of good and evil and the Zoroastrian Ahura Mazda versus Ahriman crap. I mean, it's a lot more complicated. Like that's the biggest problem with the Christians. They just say everything is of the devil, or it's the spirit of Satan. I mean, the spirit of Lucifer, Satan, devil, the Astaroth being the Lord of Karma. You can actually differentiate it between different things. Or Jabulon, the Lord form of power. This would be like the Appalachian devilish form of the demiurge and its god form in its current existence in this galaxy of the Milky Way. And then we have a local Lord Governor, which would be like Saturn in its deteriorated dead state. And then you want to talk about Lucifer, it is the fallen state of Lucifer that was got blown up during the whole cosmic war in heaven crap. I mean, Ahriman is the negative form aspirations of Mars. You want to talk about the trickster, which is the negative form of Mercury, like Loki. I mean, the Buddha in its proper state is Mercury, and its negative state would be Krishna. In the Christian version, the feminine good form of the Buddha would be the Virgin Mary. The masculine feminine, in the masculine form would be Jesus. I mean, these are energies or cosmic beings which swings over time in accordance to with the way as it was written in the stars in the heavens, and manifests itself down onto the physical plane of order of material manifestation on Earth, which is why we go through these natural cycles, like the age of Gemini, symbolized through Buddha. All right, Aries symbolized through Moses, Pisces symbolized through Jesus, and now we got to go through Aquarius. But the problem with Aquarius is because of its individual state, there may not be no savior, period. And it's about a unique, trans experience, but in the fallen state of the trans experience. Like a lot of this inversion alchemy, especially with Omicron, is really, how do I say this? A digital enslavement, imprisonment of the soul. And in this, there's an extraction of souls. And then there's this whole idea of the Great Awakening that is being shuttered off because of the Voldemort disease and the stealing of the crown chakra from everyone. I mean, I'm very aware of what's going on. I mean, when you really understand the true religion of the people, the highest orders, and how they give orders, then everything just makes sense. Even when I talk about Omicron, Omicron, it's the 15th letter of the Greek alphabet, which means we are only 58% done with the ritual. And it'll finish out in Omega, in the Alpha into the Omega, and then we'll get this Kabbalistic, hermetic revolution of the darkening of the egregoric soul of humanity as symbolized through the Black Sophia, the subconsciousness of man as it degrades lower and lower into beyond materiality, that into the digital era. And then that's why we have this whole process of a great reset in 2030, and then Greta's utopia of 2050. Ooh, look. I hate to break it to people, but this is a train that is going off the rails, Snowpiercer style, and it's really a checkmate in 10. This is a race against technology. There's bigger problems, really, because of the whole, I would say, the way Disney realm is structured and how it's supposed to function, and that these people, these Disney cast members, they're not necessarily filling their job. They're not your kings, they're your custodians. I am not entertained by this clown show, Mickey Mouse. And then when I have to face Astaroth or the Dark Deceiver, or whatever, the Trickster, the Clownster, whatever, of the Demiurge, and it's, the Demiurge itself is just a artificiated form state of what people would think of God as. But God has three forms. There's the monad, which is basically the depth state of the dark void, which everything comes from. It's not necessarily aware, it's beyond your understanding. Then there's the creator supreme God, and that creator supreme God before that and its other creation would have been coming out as this negative aspect form, which you would recognize as colloquially you could call it the devil. It is the form that gives life, but through life comes through experience, and then this process is actually a natural process of the evolution of the soul back into beyond perfection. Just because you were perfect before your state of the fall doesn't mean that there wasn't any value to you, because you were just an amalgamation bunch of the emanation of the monad anyways. But through this form of experience, you basically continue this cycle where you basically become your own supreme creator, architect, universe of the whatever, blah blah blah. I mean, this is like weird. I mean, I don't really talk about this stuff. I mean, I don't know if people even really care about this. I mean, I just talk about just to talk about it. I mean, I do have to talk about the fall of man stuff. I might have to cover, what is it, the book of Adam and Eve and whole cave of treasures, and then falling down to descent into the materiality plane where they lose their divinity. I mean, that might be important, but at the moment, I mean, I still care about defending your life more. So, okay, I did want to talk about. Well, we'll talk about Omicron again. I mean, I've already talked about this video game thing. Okay, Andy. Yeah, some of the comments recently I've seen has been getting shadowed, but I'll talk about this. And I really do have to do a house cleaning show pretty soon, and got to catch up with some people. Got to make sure Pam's still alive, and do other stuff. But I mean, I'm pretty far behind just because of my recent injury, sickness, and I've been trying to recover. So I hope people understand. Look, man, I mean, I just do this for fun, okay? Like, I mean, I don't want to end up like my master, Joshy boy, because he's always in and out of, like, the park in his tents. I mean, I literally bailed him out for the last time. Like I always say, oh, I was bailing him out for the last time. I mean, this time I literally told him to quit, all right? I told him, hang it up. I think it would be better if you just, just worked at McDonald's. You've done enough for humanity. Like, I'm very grateful for my Yoda master. He really opened up my eyes to this true occultism or true masonry or true secret society stuff that no one takes seriously, or they just pew it. Like my Obi-Wan SQS. I mean, I still listen to him sometimes to reboot, but when it comes to the highest level stuff, like the secret stuff that the people at the very top are interested, like, who am I going to believe? Some random dude on the internet? Or like billionaires and trillionaires? Maybe they know something. Maybe these bloodline descendants of the gods, maybe they know something. Maybe these people like Himmler, or maybe Himmler knows something of the Black Sun Order. Maybe Aleister Crowley, who data mined out all the stuff post World War II, and from the Illuminati stuff of the Middle East post World War One. Maybe he knows something. All right, maybe Jack Parsons knows something because he contacted some Venetian alien to tell him all the secrets of rocketry. Okay, maybe Tesla knows something because Tesla was in contact with aliens. Hello, maybe Von Braun knows something because his teacher was in contact with aliens. I mean, you want to get down to the craziest stuff I've heard? I mean, I've heard that aliens are really running the show. Like, literally, legit aliens, like non-humans. But, I mean, that's a bit out there to talk about. And I'm not talking about, like, spirits or demons or disembodied beings. I mean, they come in the form manifestation like they live through this process of basically alien demonic possession of souls into human incarnated form. I mean, that's where these whole celebrities do these stupid rituals, and then they become a vessel for an egregore. I mean, a lot of it, even Scientologists do it. I mean, modern Masons do it. I mean, I'm sure everyone else does it, but I'm not interested, okay? Look, I'm just trying to chill out. I always tell people, dude, just be a Buddha or a saint. It's not that hard. Don't get tricked into a trap of the Bodhisattva because of your predilections of humanity, or how things are supposed to run, or how government is supposed to work. I mean, get over it, okay? Like, the Uyghurs were right. This is the age where kings are slaves and thieves are kings, all right? Like, you look at me. I mean, I was born into priest caste. I actually should be a priest and doing this full time and talking about spirituality and magic and all this stuff. I mean, I do it in my free time out of a courtesy offer, and I have a tip jar running, and my channel is really supported by people who give me tips to keep going. But I mean, I don't have to do this. I could just fudge off and work a grocery store job and come back home and watch HBO Max. I mean, That's literally the state condition of the world. I mean, this world, it is what it is for its own purpose of reason. Systems of systems decays, and then the morality of man has descended to the point of that, of the animality, carnality of the monkey. All right, look, everybody acts like a monkey. All right, everybody wants to work out and look good and be a monkey. Everyone wants to use Tinder and mate around and be like a monkey. No one wants to use their brains. They just want to ask Siri like a monkey. All right, look, we live in monkey clown world, Disney realm dystopia. Okay, like, I've accepted this. All right, like, technology is a great double-edged sword. All right, 99.99% of the masses will use it for stimulation pleasure of dopamine, and that's how they get their fix. All right, very few people like me where they actually use it to expand their knowledge. Okay, and a lot of people in general, I mean, they just get hung up on whatever neuroses they have, like, especially these Christian patriot truthers, or people who are into trying to find out the truth, but then they never do a deep dive of their own obvious perspective bias. Especially what I see with Christianity. Like, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong. I'm not saying that Christianity is bad or anything. But, like, when I look into Christianity, I look at Jesus as he was of the historical figure, as he was in a scene. He was a master Brahmin. He was called a boy who came from Pakistan named Isa. He's mentioned in Buddhist texts. He got kicked out. I mean, he was obviously... I mean, he died because of his own followers attracting attention to him, to the Romans. And he was doing basically learned magic, and basically was trying to teach people to actualize their spirit soul so that they could do stuff like him. And eventually his whatever, I mean, look, they just used him as a spokesman, and then turned it into religious orthodoxy. Like, I'm very glad I'm born as a Buddhist, because, I mean, Buddha is just a man doctor. I mean, so we don't really care that much. The only way they try to get at Easterners is trying to control whether on your next reincarnation, like how they control people, of whether you're gonna go to heaven or hell. I mean, at least the Kabbalists get it right with whole Malkuth and materiality of the world as sort of hell, which is why the J-word people don't actually believe in a hell, which is actually kind of true. I mean, this hell process is really just you working on your neuroses in the next realm of the astral plane, and whether you incarnate into which realm on the Sephiroth tree. Whatever, dude, I'm just rambling and ranting. Let me react to this real quick.
Supreme Court partially shut down the Elixir mandate.
Yeah, that's the society's falling apart. I mean, our system of systems is basically, I mean, I've called it before. If you watch Warren E. Pollock a lot, I mean, all his videos are gone, but he basically trains me to teach or think of this idea of systems within systems, and that things are actually very specialized in a machine-like fashion of compartmentalization, where things like a Swiss watch, you sludge up the system, you get unintended consequences, and these unintended consequences have been lasting for years. Like, a lot of this whole Great Resignation, I mean, what did they think that was going to happen when you shut down the economy for 2 years? All the boomers basically retired when they've been delaying off retirement since 2008 to take all the jobs away from the millennials. So then what happened was you had the boomers retire en masse. The millennials don't really give a shit, and then they're at the age where, because everyone's unsure of the future, no one's sure whether or not they should have kids, even though they've been incentivizing them to have money. And Gen Z is completely disillusioned. Like, I talked to a lot of Gen Z, they're disillusioned. They hate the system for stealing their youth, or going out and all this BS. And the amount of Gen Z people that I talk to, they actually... I mean, they're already in a rebellious state, but for them to openly just say that this is all fake and BS, and everyone's just milking it for, like, time off, whatever. Like, at my workplace, I have 40 people that aren't working because of Omicron, and it's not because people actually have it. I mean, they probably, quote unquote, do have it, but everyone's just faking it, right? It's just a milking machine. No one cares. The system is entirely dependent on voluntary, participation. All right, what happens when people don't participate in society? What happens when you have too many people drop out of society? I mean, people have been dropping out of society since 2008, but with the Voldemort disease, where people have to rethink their lives, and they basically cut down their labor participation on all levels, on all sectors of the economy, globally. I mean, you want to talk about people who just dropped out of society because of the mandate? I mean, you could actually equivocate that to about 10%. And then people who like wean off their workflow because of a quote unquote labor shortage or material shortage, you can account that off for another 20%. And then I'm still upset with the whole mandate, because everybody could, if they were smart, they could have just applied for a religious exemption. But then where I live, where everyone's a Catholic, I mean, I saw it firsthand where the diocese would not grant any religious exemption to the Catholics that I knew that did not want the magical elixir, and a lot of people didn't want it. And then we have this whole problem where basically it's become a shit show. The plans of mice and men have failed. Their computer projections have failed because they didn't realize that people would just simply not do it. They did nothing, which is the greatest way to fight the system. Don't vote. Don't get the magical elixir. Resist till the end, unless you're forced to do it or some BS. But in general, enough people simply did not go along. All right, so now they have to give people a cracker. That's all it is. I mean, I still see this continuing forward for a bit, until they lose weight and weighing out power, probably towards the summer, and then they have to go for another clown show. But I mean, this thing has to finish out, though. I mean, only 58% of the way, because of the whole Greek thing. I mean, I would think that they would do something with Sigma, and then finish off with Omega, and then after that, I mean, that's why they have this whole setup thing with the whole Rand Paul being against Fauci. Oh my God, because Rand Paul's a virologist, and he's like a truther libertarian, and his daddy was Ron Paul, whatever, and he's our savior and a good guy. I mean, that guy is completely controlled by Scientology. I mean, there's a long-term plan here. Like, you think I think the truthers or the Republicans or the right and then Alex Jones, I mean, they're going to do anything? No, because they're part of the system. This is a long con scam, all right? They win by 2025. We need to remember the movie They Live. Like, come on, man, dude, I'm still waiting for the goddamn fake alien invasion, all right? Someone needs to get this goddamn fake alien invasion rolling, because I'm getting goddamn bored, all right? Like, I don't give two shits about the Voldemort disease, alright? It's a molasses train disaster. It has to cycle out and finish. And then we need the whole goddamn Scientology, worldwide religion, theosophy, UN bullcrap, alright? I mean, I see the plan so far ahead. I mean, to me, it's shocking that this is their plan. Like, it's literally the goddamn Georgia Guidestones. I mean, water is wet, sky is blue. I mean, and their whole Depop thing pretty much fizzled out. But it's not even about Depop. It's about the whole monkeyifying everybody, all right? Because they want to treat humanity like cattle monkey, so they can be the trans Ubermensch man, all right? Which they sort of are, because no one actually believes in this whole spirituality and magic and ascension of the soul and the Kabbalistic Masonic perfection of man and the gate of the golden dawn and ascension through Sirius. Ooh, because the Christians say that's of the devil. It's of the devil. Sirius is evil. Like, Jesus Christ. I mean, oh my God. I mean, we're a goddamn clown show. Like, to me, there's like no hope for anyone who's even interested in these topics, because people are too goddamn dumb and too biased. All right. Okay, well, I gotta finish this up.
Supreme Court partially shut down the elixir mandate. I think they...
Well, it's basically unconstitutional in the beginning, and you know, they still have to follow rules. I mean, they've gone away with a lot of things by bullying and coercion, but it's time to put up or shut up, and then that's what's happening. And the slaves are basically in full resentment revolt, right? Like, there's one thing you don't want is people to resent you. Like, resentment sits far worse than hatred.
I think they notice the breaking down of the system as humanity degrades into lower Bishakra animals that can backfire violently. Thanks.
Yeah, it's backfiring even worse than violence. What happens when people just check out? then it's game over. All right, you need people to show up to the great clown show. Right, what happens if you build it and they don't come? I mean, that's what's happening right now. Or you try to just have your cake and eat it too. I mean, these people are goddamn annoying, like these quote unquote elites. All right, but I mean, we'll see what happens. But I do think that the phasing of the turning, it's gonna turn around eventually. All right, but if you live in certain cities, like let's say Seattle, or where I'm around is Boston, they want to get out. Oh, you need to take out your phone app with the QR code. People will revolt through resentment. I mean, that's what's happening, and it's eventually gonna peter out where they lose their narrative because they are getting desperate. In America and other countries, I can't say the same for Austria or Australia or the Netherlands, whatever, but in America in general, people are fed up with this shit. All right, even I'm fed up with this shit. All right, people played along to get along. I waited out for this goddamn ritual. It's pretty much over, coming up through February, and then they still want to have their cake and eat it too. They can suck my nuts. All right, this whole thing was fake. It's faker than AIDS. All right. I mean, are we really just gonna pretend like all this is real when it's just a rebranding of the cold? Let's get real here. I'm not a dummy, all right? I'm not no monkey, all right? I don't care about no magical elixir. I mean, first of all, the magical elixir was one of the greatest ploys by the system to trick the truthers. Like the truthers, from what I've heard, they were like, if you take the magical elixir, you will not be welcome into the kingdom of heaven. Or like I heard like Cliffy Boy was saying, oh, if you take the magical elixir, then you have to repeat samsara again, for it is your karmic destiny that you had to take whatever, and then you had to come back here. I mean, the amount of spiritual, emotional blackmail that I saw coming out of these truthers was insane, all right? It's actually just a physical product. Your body is a unique creation. It can actually detox it if you really care about it. Like I mentioned before about heavy metal detoxing, or drinking coconut, drinking pure coconut water, and obviously antioxidants, vitamin C, or coconut, oil, or taking pomegranate juice, or just things to flush out your body in mass. Like I've flushed out my body and done detoxes before, so to me it's not that big of a deal where people say it's gonna modify your DNA and do this or that. I mean, there's a reason why they want you to take it over and over again, like the whole seasonal flu crap, because it's just toxification of the body for the expansion of their control network of pharmaceuticals and the medical industrial complex. I mean, that's all it is, all right? But when you have this whole system and they try to push this, force feed it through people, I mean, this really was the emperor having no clothes. I mean, the amount of legitimacy that they've lost through mainstream narrative, tech media control, health workers, where the doctors are supposed to be in charge of your life. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, it's crazy how much influence that they have lost. Like, they blew their load for this Kabbalistic ritual, and they listened to a computer to give them projections. And now the machinations of mice and men are falling apart, and it's a free-for-all. So we'll see what happens, but 2022 is going to be a very annoying year. Okay, what was I talking about? Omicron?
Thousands of years, my Cuchulainn, the hero of the he derives his power from suffering souls.
Yeah, we all know this. I mean, it created Omicron, it created the game of Dharma on Earth plane. Like, see all these people obsessed with celebrities and cult worship or religion or concerts. Look, pick your poison, all right? Like some people who are into the whole truther stuff, I mean, they're obsessed with the fear, right? And they're obsessed with the whole Bible and you just need to surrender your soul to Jesus, even though Jesus would rather want you to live your life and, do greater works than him. But whatever, dude. I mean, everyone's pretty much fascinated by this Astaroth being, all right? That has created this fascinating world through your sensation of the body, the flesh. I mean, that's the whole point of, Rosicrucianism or the ancient secret societies, because they realized that the spirit was chained to the flesh for a time. I mean, that's why Saturn is the rule of time, and then time, the sun of time through one of the moons, whatever, is symbolic of that of death. It's a natural process to liberate the soul from the chaining of Astaroth's insane game. All right, the current, patch event of the game is literally called Corona-chan. Okay.
They endure infinite tortures in the
Endure infinite tortures. Oh, it sounds like the normie NPCs who never reach any transcendental experiences.
reservoir. It is this endless suffering.
Endless suffering. I told you, the world's suffering. All right, the Buddhist got it right. All right.
Enable him.
Like, I mean, it's pretty true. I mean, you look outside. Did you have to go to the bathroom? Did you have to eat? Did you feel pain from deficiency? Yeah.
To recover.
Oh, I gotta bounce.